photos, the proportions are the exact same.
Are you blind? Are you... Huh? Fine. We will watch this. Maybe we'll watch some more.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here.
Maybe I will watch Rev videos until he makes one that's interesting. But no, then I die, because none of them are. I'm kidding, of course. Or am I? Anyway, so...
Today, and another exhausting round of discourse about
Are you
fictional short characters. This time we have a few stories, but the main focus is going to involve Fur Affinity and some updates regarding how they will moderate short characters.
Oh, I actually kind of heard about that a little bit. I have never used Fur Affinity yet, but I've heard about Fur Affinity in enough drama and internet history videos, so I'm vaguely familiar with what goes on over there. And I heard that there's a policy change. Yep, Fur Affinity. We're talking about Fur Affinity, apparently. Fur Affinity is for furries. It is. I've seen some good art from there, not gonna lie. For sure. There's good artists everywhere.
So the name gives it away.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did Rev make an EDP video?
It is a popular art hosting platform that is primarily used by furries.
Yes.
Now, furry is not my cup of tea, but I don't judge you if it's your thing. But I think any self-aware furry knows that there is a serious hypocrisy issue among some of their community, because some of the biggest anti-lolicons are furries. And of course, the logic they use to smear lolicons can be applied right back at them to make them problematic as well. But the changes to
don't think so.
Fur Affinity's policing of short characters has a lot of artists concerned. But this actually comes...
Okay, you don't read the tweet. Well, fuck you then. I'm gonna read the tweet, please. Okay, can we go back a little bit so I can see the tweet again? So, Fur Affinity, is this their official Twitter? I'm assuming, maybe it is. It doesn't have that many likes. I'm assuming it's their official Twitter, maybe, I guess. With the recent site announcement, some clarifications will be posted to the main site soon. In the meantime, we can clarify a very specific concern in regard to short characters in parentheses. Is that parentheses? Yes. No. In quotation marks. There you go. I know the English language. How will this policy change affect micro slash short characters? Please follow the thread. To clarify what is meant by proportions, we do not mean a prohibition on short characters or style choices. So they're not banning short characters. So that's already in the first minute of the video. That is not happening then. Characters that are canonically children or have features that make them appear underage would have to have appropriate proportion changes to be identified as an adult. So they're not just banning short characters. They're just saying don't draw porn of children. Okay, sounds pretty reasonable. Most people who hate lolicons are not furries. Yeah, that too. Like, that's a weird conjecture that I don't know.
But this actually comes as an update to a Discord message that had a lot of people concerned. This came 3 days before their official thread that we're going to look at in a second. But this says, our most well-known change removed the classic 1,000-year-old lolly vampire loophole trope by expanding our definition of minors to include humanoids with childlike body proportions, including canonically adult characters who look like children, and these standards will be going into effect on July 1st. So obviously this whole sentiment here is what is used by some furries to paint lolicons as pedos, right? But unfortunately, this definition
because they are
applies to a lot of cub artwork and also
people who like cub artwork are also pedos.
Just short
100%
and petite furry characters, and especially original characters who have no set age or might have a certain body type that someone could subjectively consider a child if they so wanted to. But to quell some of those fears,
he is gonna read the tweet. Well, cub with a B. Wait, is that true? I don't know. Like baby animals are called bear babies are called cubs, and there's a whole section of furry art that's like cub art, and that's literally baby animals, and that's literally fucked up. Cub art. Yeah, that's what that is. I know way too much about this because I do watch drama channels in my free time sometimes. Oh boy. Oh, it is lolly furry. It's really bad. And I don't know how he's gonna bring this into that, because I don't think they're trying... That would be fucked up if Fur Affinity is trying to outlaw one and not the other. I think their definition includes this cup art, doesn't it?
The 21st, and it has caused even more problems. So let's read it.
Fuck, I already read it.
With the most recent site announcement, some clear concern in regards to short characters. How will this... However, there is a new policy coming in that is going to police short characters, you're going to have problems because art is very subjective in determining the ages and body types of
They literally said they're not going to do that. They literally said this in the tweet. They're not going to police short characters. It's not happening. Yeah, that one is heretical. That one is criminal, literally, in my opinion.
Is a mess. It hands all the power to the moderators, who basically get to play judge, jury, and executioner on whether a certain art piece will be allowed or not. And it is all up to their subjective opinion. But they add some clarifications. The first one is right here. To clarify what is meant by proportions, we do not mean a prohibition on short characters or style choices. We have to have appropriate proportion changes to be identified as an adult, which this standard, again, super subjective.
Well, obviously it's going to be subjective. How else do you think you're going to police this? I think it's a valiant effort on Fur Affinity's side to try and make sure that there's no fucking child pornography on their fucking site. What is the problem? Like, you gotta try to somehow police it. If it's not a subjective policing, how else are you going to police it? Like, what else are you going to do? You gotta do something, right?
And tough to prove. It is hard, nearly impossible, to prove that a character is being drawn short or as a child based on style choices. Was that the style choice, or was that just how the character looks? How could you tell without contacting the artist? And
I mean, I feel like there's some style choices that are pretty clearly indicative of trying to evoke the idea of a child, while others are more like, oh yeah, petite. Because there is a difference. Obviously, it's going to be a subjective judgment call on the people whoever the people are that are moderating this. But like, what else? What is your other solution to combating this? I feel like this is a good attempt at a solution. All the stuff about policing cup shit on Fur Affinity just reminds me that Pixiv has a pedophilia tag, and that said tag has an R18 section. Yep, Japan is doing Japan over there.
This whole concept of updating the proportions of characters to identify the difference between an adult and a child, that is going to be a big issue, because what if the proportions stay the same but the character gets older? There's a million examples of that, and there's no way that this is a fair standard to be applied across the board.
Like, even if you're a petite adult, you're not going to look exactly like a child, like as a prepubescent child. You might look like a teenager. That's a bit more muddled, I guess. Like, I get ID'd when I try to buy alcohol. Okay, this happens. First of all, because, 18-year-olds, nope, 18 would be fine for us. But like 17-year-olds can not buy alcohol. I want to buy alcohol. I'm not 17. Like, yeah, sure. That's something you can mix up. But like, actual children, like, they look different. You're gonna look different. Even if you're petite, even if you're short. You are gonna look different. I swear. Japan, please. I know, right? It's rough. It's rough. Isn't the only thing that really distinguishes adults and children in anime their face? Yeah, with anime, I feel like it's a little bit more tricky, but I don't think it's their face. I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like it's the way that the body is drawn. Like, children have different sort of proportions, right? It is a proportional thing. Even though you can have a big head, it's not just about big head. It is not just about big head. It's also like roundness and stuff like that. But depending on the art style, can be kind of hard to tell, for sure.
But they add another clarification, which of course just adds more confusion, by saying just being small or having short limbs does not mean we'll identify the character as a child. We'll include context to the character's realm to identify if they are an adult. If a character looks young from birth till old, we have to look at it subjectively based on how it looks.
Yeah, what else are they gonna do? No, I agree. What else are they gonna do? Like, they're trying. What else are they supposed to do in order to police this?
This is a whole mess right here. Okay?
No. Yeah, like, exactly, Purple, I agree. 99% of the time, yeah, but some characters, like Kana from that Dragon Maid show, are undeniably like a child body. And also in anime, like, if it's a show, another thing that you can look at is how they behave. Like, do they behave childlike? That is Kana, yes, 100%. They have childlike characteristics. That's another thing. Roma from Tokyo Ghoul.
Number one, the whole language about context of the character's realm. Who knows what that means, by the way? But the important part is, you need to demonstrate that it somehow looks different from when it was young at birth until the present where it's older. You have to show that there is a difference in how it looks. which is absolutely crazy because a lot of the art on Fur Affinity are original characters. So if you just create a short adult character and it's just an adult right from the get-go because it's fictional and you can do that, you're going to have to somehow prove that it had a younger version that was smaller. So
that is not what they're saying. That is literally not what they said. They didn't say that. No, huh? They did not. I don't think they said that, Rev. This video is called They're Banning Short Characters, which is immediately a lie. They immediately said they're not doing.
So basically their solution to these underage characters being hosted on their platform is requiring artists to not only draw their original characters, but also draw the child version of their original character to be—
I don't think they said that. I don't think that they said that. So, Ref is telling a lie about spreading information or something. I mean, it seems like it. I would never, of course, accuse Rev of spreading misinformation or anything, but it's a willful misinterpretation of the tweets that
be
he's
used as a reference to prove that it has aged up in some way. That is insane. Like, besides the fact you're requiring them to draw child characters to prove they're not children and to—
They did not say that. The only thing they said is if a character looks young from birth till old, we have to look at it subjectively based on how it looks. This is not like a great sentence grammatically. It's kind of like, it's a little bit gibberish. It's kind of hard to understand, but nowhere were they like, you need to have the whole like history of the character that you've created available for us to check. That's not written there anywhere. It's not there. This is definitely one of Rev's more shit takes. It certainly is, because you're saying things that nobody said. You're arguing with yourself. No, they didn't say any of this.
Avoid having child characters on their platform. You also just have to do all this extra work, and once again, you have to prove somehow the proportions have changed. It's just such an unbelievable mess. So immediately people are like, well, what does that mean? Can you provide an example? Well, Fur Affinity provides an example, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So they say,
okay,
a good example of this is taking a short character, let's say Judy Hopps from Zootopia, and showing what she looks like next to the younger rabbits. She is still shorter than many, and when put next to a bigger version of herself as a child, you can see the difference between them. So remember, they talked a lot.
Yeah, this is an example of... Yeah, I feel like this is a good example. You can see that Judy Hopps does not embody childlike proportions. This is really weird because we're going through like many levels of abstraction because of course she's a rabbit. Rabbits look pretty much the same their entire life, but like she's a anthropomorphized rabbit, so she looks a little bit like a human. Humans, you know, human proportions and all that. And you can tell that this one character is supposed to be a child and this one character is supposed to be an adult. And that's the sort of stuff that they're going to be looking for. I feel like that's all that this example is trying to do. This feels very slanderous because he's just taking everything I'm assuming it's their official website. I'm pretty sure that Fur Affinity, whatever said in their statement, is just taking everything and interpreting it a little bit different. Let's see what he says about this, by the way.
A lot, at nauseum, about proportions being updated. And yet, here is the sample photo they use. Yeah. The proportions are the exact same.
Are you blind? Are you, huh? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not huh? It's literally not true. It is literally not true. Okay, I don't know how to argue with this. I do not know how to argue with this. The proportions are not the same at all. Literally, it's all, this is her as a child and this is her as an adult. It's even the same character. See, I didn't watch Zootopia. The proportions are literally so different. Like, look, the build is completely different. This is like a straight box build. Her like waist is further down and less like defined and everything. Her head is 3 times the size as a child than it is as an adult. Her ears are completely... Arguing with this feels dumb because it feels like you're just being purposely obtuse. Why would I argue with somebody who's like closing both their eyes and just imagining images instead of actually reacting to images that he's seeing in front of him? No way he just said that. Like, it's literally... Okay, that is not even subjective anymore. What do you mean the proportions are the same? Brother, open your eyes, please. My man Ref needs those comically large glasses for a reason so I can forgive his blindness. Yeah, but like, you're wearing the glasses. Look at the image.
What do you mean? So you're telling me there is a significant difference in the body types and
Yes!
proportions
Yes!
between these two. Significant enough to lodge what is essentially a pedophile accusation against an artist. That is insane to me, right?
Huh? Okay, sure. But this is like, honestly, I would like to give him this much credit that this is like a purposeful like construct of like, oh, I'm pretending to be dumb to get engagement. I would love to have this mental image of Rev being smart like that, but this is the same hill that he always dies on. The pedophile hill is the hill that he likes to die on, and that's not a good hill to die on. That's the one you get serious backlash on, as you should. So I don't think it's strategically smart to die on the same hill over and over again. Like, the hill is 90% made out of like Rev dead bodies because he keeps dying on this fucking hill. This is so funny. Okay. Like, the proportions are completely different. Okay.
And
Continue.
you scroll down and
Continue.
they say there's no easy way to address all concerns, but we will be taking the time to do our best to reassure that this only closes a loophole to an already existing rule. This isn't anything new. To add to this, we'll take appearance into consideration, not levels or evolutions, which causes a whole nother issue about evolutions like Mew versus Mewtwo, right? Like, how does evolution...
Also, yes, Mew is a baby and Mewtwo is a man. Wait, Mew Pokemon. I'm sure we'll get that, yeah? Like, Mew is a baby. That's a baby. Baby. And Mewtwo is not a baby. Yes. But that has nothing to do with that. I just wanted to look at that. Oh, that's still her tweet. I need to go back. Too many tabs open. Help me. Where the fuck did I put you? There you go. You just want to draw his lolly art without getting flamed. Yeah, well, it's not gonna happen.
Have anything to do with age in that situation, but all of these examples and new updates and clarifications just add more confusion
I disagree.
and make the entire policy more subjective by each step.
I mean, it needs to be a little bit subjective, obviously.
It is entirely up to the moderators to decide if something's a child, if it's short, has short proportions, isn't significantly different than a younger version, or maybe doesn't have a younger version for comparison. All these things can lead to you getting banned and your livelihood put at risk.
I think this is not as big of a problem as he makes it out to be. Don't. Just don't. I think it's really, really easy not to be affected by this policy. I'm sure it's not that hard.
That is a big problem. And back to the whole original character situation, right? This user asked, I'm short and my biddies are small. What does that mean for me?
That means that you are a short adult with small tits. Welcome to the club, buddy. You are not being mistaken for a 10-year-old. You may be mistaken for like a 15-year-old. 15 has happened, but that's a difference between like a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old. Because some 15-year-olds look like adults. That's why that's why you muddle shit up all of the time. That's why real life age of consent laws are important, to have like the age and everything, and not just like it looks based on looks or vibes or whatever the fuck. Like, yeah. Some teens look older and some adults look younger, but you're not my dude, Morgan, my good friend, whom I definitely know. You do not look like a 10-year-old. You do not.
And they reply with, if you would like clarification on your OC, we recommend you put in a ticket or DM us for review. But again, we do not take character height or even chest size into account when making these decisions.
Yep.
So besides the fact that you have to basically go to them directly to make sure your OC is kosher, but also they pretty much...
That is not what they said. Rev, can you read? This is so fucking funny. That is not what they said. This person obviously replied, Morgan, my good friend, friend of the show, Morgan, wrote, in bad faith, oh, I am a short, petite girl. Also, well, didn't say girl, maybe not. I'm a short, petite, small titties person. Very, very pick-me energy, by the way. The biggest pick-me energy, but okay. Anyway, it's real. People can be like that. What does that mean about me? Didn't even mention an OC. Didn't even, that doesn't even, like, Do they even make content on that website? We don't know. Didn't even mention anything about that. No valid concern was stated. And Fur Affinity is a company or whatever the fuck, and they reply in a way that a company replies to such a tweet by trying to be offering any sort of help that this person may be seeking because they did technically ask a question. So they're trying to answer this question, even though this question was asked in absolute bad faith, and they don't actually want an answer for their question at all. So, like, what else are they gonna do? And if you would like a clarification on your OC, you can ask us. Is a good answer for this? It's a good answer for this. It's not every single person needs to send their OC to us. That is not what they said anywhere.
Contradict the entire above thread by saying like none of these things even matter when making these decisions. I have no idea what's going on at Fur Affinity, but it's managed to piss off a great portion of their artists and regular users who frequent that platform, and it's made a whole lot of lolicons and lolicon defenders point and laugh because for many, this is a taste of their own medicine and these standards being applied to furry art, which have been applied by furries to lolicons to paint them as predators.
Is there a big, like, war between furries and lolicons, sorry? Okay, wasn't aware of that. I don't think that exists. I think that exists in Ref's mind only. I'm sure there's some furries who are like, lolicon is bad for sure, as there are rational people in any group, you know? But just because you're a furry doesn't mean that you innately have a stance on lolicon. Like, they're just people too. They're gonna either develop a stance on it or not, like everybody else, huh? There are furries who hate lolicons a lot, though. Fair! There's people who hate lolicons a lot. That makes sense, but God, I don't think the furries who hate lolicon, at least they shouldn't be. I don't know. I think the furries who hate lolicon are probably not the furries who draw cub shit. I'm assuming.
Oh, but it doesn't end there. So there's been further clarifications made in their Discord server, which has provided more context as to what kinds of short characters and minors will be okay. Well, apparently if you draw underage characters involved in safe for work or non-sexualized interests, such as vor, you're okay. They are saying that vor is not sexual.
Yeah, that's a whole can of worms that I don't know anything about. But suddenly you're in favor of not having minor characters be involved in sexual content? Suddenly? I thought you were pro this shit. What about the sudden, like, change of tune? Anyway, yeah, I don't think that war should be allowed in this context, and transformation probably. Those are fetishes. They are usually sexual, right? But I'm not an expert on fetishes. I have never heard of war. Well, actually I have. I have heard of people saying that war is non-sexual for them, but I don't know if I believe that.
Okay, you don't have to be like super familiar with that whole fetish to understand that it is a fetish. It is very sexual. Vor is meant to be sexual, and yet if you put a minor character in that situation, it's okay. It's still considered, or now apparently considered, safe for work.
No, it's different when I'm into it, you see. Yeah, it's like, why are you attacking this? Isn't this what you, like, vibe with? I mean, I guess you don't vibe with war specifically. War on SFW? I don't know. I have heard people, one person. I have a person in my head. No, they're not in my head. I don't remember who they were or where I heard this, but somebody made the claim that they like war completely non-sexually. Go off, I guess, but I don't think most people agree. Oh, true, it's the disgust factor. That's actually really smart, Quartz. He's not disgusted by lollies. He's like, ew, that furry shit, that's degenerate. Ew, why? Yeah, but like when his side draws the lolly shit, he's like, you know what he's like. I don't need to elaborate on that, actually.
Meanwhile, they're making this whole fuss about short characters, but allowing a...
They're literally not! It says short characters are not being impacted. Where did... God.
Very specific fetish, a sexual fetish, to exist on their platform, considered safe for work even. That's crazy to me. But moving on, more hysteria involving short characters. This was a pretty viral post, got over 20,000 likes, saying the short girlfriend and using a...
Oh, I've seen this. By the way, that is this one's the one. This one's the little piece of text that they put on there that is why I've seen this. So short GF, easy to pick up, and all right, wears your hoodies like a dress. Yeah, sure. Needs help reaching on the second shelf. Sure. She's also, obviously, this character, or whoever, this character, this interpretation of a short GF is obviously not lolly or any like pedo bait or shit, but like shops for clothes in the kids section, that's, with this body type, I don't think you will. If you have boobs like this, you will not fit into the kids' clothes. I'm just saying, they're not made for, unless, I mean, there's big, there is big kids clothes for big kids. But like, no. Short GF usually does not shop in the kids section. For the most part, that is a weird thing to put on this little list. Like, why do you find this? This is like obviously things to find attractive, right? Obviously, right? So like, why is that there? It's a bit weird, isn't it? Well, let's see what he says on that.
Character, but the way people are treating this, it's not just short women, but also in fiction, but short women in real life as well. So part of this whole thing, these descriptions, other than these banger ones over here, it says shops for clothing in the kids section.
I know.
And it led to this quote retweet with another ridiculous Goku meme.
Another ridiculous Goku meme. The woke left has gone too far. They cannot keep getting away with it, putting these ridiculous Goku memes on top of our little tweets.
Which is hilarious. And it says in quotes, shops for clothes in the kids section. Very confused, and this Goku meme is always, of course, affiliated with people saying that this is something illegal going on or
is it
pedophilia. So if you genuinely are surprised that adult women shop for clothes in the kids section, you have never met an adult woman before. This is not a mind-blowing concept. And we're not even getting into like particulars, like an adult woman shopping for their child or something.
See, we talked about this. She's actually pregnant and needs kids' clothes there. Like, yeah, I have purchased clothes from the kids section before in like thrift store or whatever. It's not like I specifically go out to kids clothing stores in order to buy clothes there. I got one of the best fitting like dress shirts from the boys section one time. That one fit like a banger. That was pretty good. But putting don't you understand that putting this little like tidbit on that meme specifically is a bit weird? Also, it implies that they like always shop in the kids section. Also, the person depicted in that meme has boobs like that. They're not gonna fit into the kids section clothes properly. Also, they make clothes for short women. Also, it don't even need to continue on. Are you sure about that, Ref?
I'm just saying there's many cases where women will shop for kids' clothing because it might actually just fit them because they're short, or maybe for a specific piece of clothing, they want something that'll fit them better. It is...
Yeah, it's not like the original post said, ooh, one time this short woman was able to find a very nicely fitting shirt in the kids section. It makes it, that's not quite what they were trying to say, I think.
Very, very common, and if you think like this, you haven't been outside, and you definitely haven't been outside with an adult woman while she is shopping. This whole thing is crazy. There's not much to say. It's like either you think this is stupid, and you know it's stupid, or you just don't know anything, right? But moving on from that, another one of these.
Okay, that's all that you wanted to say about that. Banger takes. Yeah, kids' clothing have different styles. They're not meant for short people, really. For the most part, I'm gonna drop, like, the most critical take yet. Kids' clothes, low-key ugly. Personally, wouldn't want to wear that Frozen Elsa 2 whatever shirt, personally. But that may just be me. Also, kids' clothes are not really cheaper. I think sometimes that can be an argument, like, it's cheaper. If you're at the thrift store, I feel like the thrift store is the only one where you can, like, champion that. Like, yeah, you can look at, like, the bigger sizes of the kids' section sometimes for certain things. That's where I got my shirt from. But if you're buying new clothes, then you can absolutely just shop in the adult section. Oh, God, yeah, I saw this tweet, too.
We've seen a whole host of these types of tweets. It is now deleted. But this went viral, lots of interaction, over 6 million views on this tweet, saying, realistically, what does a 19-year-old have in common with a 22-year-old?
That one's very silly. Juno is 19. Juno's my friend. We have a lot in common. We watch the same sort of content creators and stuff. This one is just stupid. Yeah, sure. Add that in here. That's fair. Yeah, it's weird to put all of these things in the same video, isn't it, Victor? It's stupid. Equating no lolly / cubs with adults who fit into kids' clothes is very stupid. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that has to do. What either of these tweets have to do with the first one. Usually, I thought he kept it to like one subject per his videos. Guess not. Hey, Rev, want to debate? I'm really bad at it. I've never done it before. I've never debated anybody before, but I'm open to it. We can debate on lolly stuff. The video started out pretty mid and then it got slowly worse. Honestly, this one started out pretty bad already. After like here, once we started getting into the tweet, where he's just, you know, didn't read what was written like once and instead just argued with himself over imaginary situations that weren't happening or being discussed, which is always very fun. The right loves to do that. The right is like, oh my god, this thing that isn't real and will never be real. Can you imagine they're doing this? No, they're not doing this. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing or saying anything like this. You're just in your head schizo posting. Do your thing. Do your thing, little rock star. Make shit up. Ref debate when? Yeah, debate me, bro. I'm super duper bad at it because I've never done it. I don't think you've done it either, though. So like, we should totally like practice debate, with each other. I'm down. I will be charitable. I will be charitable and chill. This is an open invitation. If you actually, that would be so cool. If you actually would want to, I bet you wouldn't, but I think that would be very cool. Maybe we can come to a consensus. Maybe we can both learn and grow from this, you know? Technically, that's the goal of a debate. Usually they don't do that, though. Usually that doesn't happen.